Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of PHT TV. Last week we unboxed and took apart the SPL-150, and today we're going to crack open the SVS PB-2000 Pro. As we've done with a lot of the unboxings this season, I also want to pull the components and show you the insides of this guy as well. So, all that said, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button below and click the little bell next to it to enable notifications. Don't miss an episode and get updates with every new release. This will also be the first step towards making you eligible for any of our contests and our giveaways that we have here in the future. Now, as always, there are some things I want to touch on before we dive into the actual unboxings, but as I went over these last week, no sense in doing that all over again. Let's just play that back for you. First and foremost, do I need a sub in my system? The answer is yes and no, but mostly yes. How deep can your mains dig? Can your systems get down to 18 hertz while staying accurate and musical and clean? Basically, do you have the new Jubilees? For most people, the answer to that question of do I need a sub is going to be yes. It'll drastically improve the performance of your system and improve the overall experience of your home theater. The next question we get all the time is, do we need to use the same brand sub as the rest of our systems? You've probably seen my take on this with front of house and surrounds, where I typically recommend keeping your systems matched throughout. Subs is where this is going to change. Basically, get the best sub for you. I don't care about brand, I don't care about materials. Low frequencies are far more forgiving when it comes to these types of things. When I had the pre-listen sub up here, it was awesome, and I left it in place with a ton of different setups until we remodeled. We see SVS paired with Klipsch all the time, and it works beautifully. On the other hand, we do see Klipsch match with Klipsch all the time, and it works great, and it gives the added bonus of matching in appearance as well. Again, get what is best for you. One additional note here is that there are two models of the PB-2000, the PB-2000 and the PB-2000 Pro, which is what we're looking at today. There are significant differences between the two models, so make sure you're looking at the right unit when determining the sub that's right for you. Now, I'm ready to go. Let's do what we came here for today, and let's unbox the SVS PB-2000 Pro. All right, so the first thing that you'll notice is it does say on the top, it says how to open. Carefully roll this box over and open your new SVS subwoofer from the bottom. So we're gonna do just that. I'm gonna flip it over. And we have foam. We do have corner bracing like you see in a lot of these subwoofers. Now I'm gonna go ahead and push back the bag. We'll get the grill out first. Here we have the SVS PB-2000 Pro grill. Here is your manual and your power cable. All right, we won't be needing the power cable today. We're not gonna hook this up, so I'm gonna toss that off to the side. But we also have our manual and information sheets in here. The perfect fusion of innovation and passion. So first thing we pull out is less of a manual, and it's more of a pamphlet for essentially all of the items that SVS, or a lot of the items that SVS has to offer. Then product registration form, as well as a quick setup guide. And then finally, just some safety instructions. Read these instructions, keep these instructions, heat all warnings. This sounds like a lot like the Klipsch one that we had. Do not install near heat surfaces. Yeah, pretty much identical. It's essentially how not to break your speakers. Let's go ahead and put all this away. There we go. All right, and last but not least, let's take a look at our SVS PB-2000 Pro. All right, here it is out of the box with the grill on. And let's immediately take off the grill so we can look at the internal components. So here it is out of the box, the SVS PB-2000 Pro. And this is a bit smaller of a unit than we unboxed last week, coming in at 20.9 inches tall, 17.3 wide, and 23.6 deep. And it's also 10 pounds lighter than the SPL-150. Now, you may be asking why I keep comparing to last week's SPL-150. The reason for this is that these are two competing brands in a similar price tier with similar specs. Yes, it's a 12-inch versus a 15, but it is an impressive 12, and it claims some pretty amazing things. I'm not sure if we'll be doing a side-by-side compare of these or not, but it's possible we do that in the future. If nothing else, I wanted to give you some notations on the units and hopefully help if you are having trouble deciding between the two. As for specs, you're looking at a 12-inch high excursion driver with dual high-grade ferrite magnets, an aluminum vented cone, and a Sledge 550 DSP amp with 550 watts RMS and 1500 watts peak power. Now, spinning around back, let's take a look at the controls. First off, we have our SVS SoundPath wireless audio adapter input, so that'll add wireless capabilities with the additional accessory. We have our inputs and our outputs. We have our 12-volt trigger input. And then lastly, we have our auto on-off switch. We have our low pass and our phase options as well, which all use the same display to show the status of the unit. That's about all I'm gonna go over for the specs. As usual, it is all in the spec sheet and on the website, so no need for all that. That said, if you do need a closer look or more details, head over to that website, head over to the SVS website. All of this info is there as well. Now, you guys seem to like seeing the internals of all these units, so let's do that here as well. Let's take apart the SVS PB-2000 Pro and see what it looks like on the inside. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws here. As we say in all of the videos, you can use a drill. However, I typically recommend doing these by hand because screws that are directly into the wood could be stripped if you over tighten with a drill. That said, these do use nuts and bolts as opposed to screws, so you'll be less inclined to damage the product when pulling them out with a drill. All right, I don't know if I can get in here or not, let's see. So we do have the similar style of locking spade clamps. Push in, pull out, and it is released. All right, so here we have our SVS PB-2000 Pro driver. These are our dual ferrite magnets I was talking about. Pretty impressive structure, pretty good weight to it. All right, we're gonna set this driver off to the side. All right, now the amp, it looks like uses the exact same bit as the driver. Not that that's really gonna help you unless you're pulling them both off at the same time like I am. Now, unlike the driver though, these are wood screws. So you'll want to be careful when reinserting these to make sure not to strip out the wood. Now, I always keep a hand on it just in case, but most likely these units are compressed so deeply in there that you can let go and nothing's going to happen. We're actually probably going to have to give it some incentive to come out of there anyways. So, all right, so I'm going to keep a hand on it. Now, here is your set of wires to the drivers there. And here we have our amp for the SVS PB-2000 Pro. Sledge STA 550 amplifier. All right, and as promised, I did also want to grab the SPL-150 amp and driver. Now, please keep in mind, like I said, as far as surface area goes, it is a 12 versus a 15, but they are claiming very similar specs. So let's take a look at the magnet structure here and magnet and basket structure here. Let's get these guys off to the side. And we will take a look at the amps. They're both the similar style amps. So we have the plate amp assemblies for the Klipsch and the SVS. Flip around back here. Last but not least, before we go any further, I do want to take a look at the inside of the box. So here you can see the rear of the ports. Let's just take this camera off here. You kind of see the port design here. All the insulation inside. And then when we turn it around, help you to see the design of the cabinet as well. Now, similar to the SPL-150, we do have encasing for the magnet here to hold the magnet in place and to give additional support internally. We have the dual ports going all the way to the back there and front firing there. And there is the internals of the PB-2000 Pro. There you have it, the SVS PB-2000 Pro out of the box and the amp and driver out of the SVS PB-2000 Pro. If you have any questions or requests for future videos, please do not hesitate to ask. Please leave a message below and we'll be happy to help. Please also click that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it to enable notifications to stay updated on new releases and to knock out that first step towards being eligible for our future contests. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna put back together the SPL-150 and the SVS PB-2000 Pro and put them to the test and see what they can do. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again next week for another episode of PHT TV. Wireless adapter, ins and outs, and then that also includes our 12-volt trigger. Then up here we have our